Estonia is also one of NATO's staunchest supporters of Ukraine. Since the start of Russia's full-scale invasion, Estonia has provided Ukraine with significant military assistance. You have committed to supporting Ukraine annually with at least 0.25%, so a quarter of a percent of your GDP. And this year you have further stepped up your assistance, including through NATO's comprehensive assistance package. Our ongoing support for Ukraine continues to be crucial to ensure they have what they need to defend today. In July in Washington, President Trump and I announced a new NATO initiative to deliver urgent support to Ukraine. And in just a few weeks, this mechanism has channeled $2 billion worth of urgently needed aid to Ukraine, from ammunition to advanced air defense, from the US to Ukraine, paid for by allies. And more packages are coming, and I want to urge all allies to contribute to this and other initiatives that provide vital support to Ukraine. We know and we agree that Russia remains the most significant and direct threat to Euro-Atlantic security. So we must remain vigilant, invest more in defense, expand defense industrial production on both sides of the Atlantic, and continue to support Ukraine.
Therefore, Estonia will continue to support Ukraine in its path towards NATO membership. Not only because it would be the best guarantee for a peaceful future for Ukraine, but also because Ukraine would make NATO itself much stronger and Europe more secure.
Putin was clearly impressed, all evidence has, with that we were able to come to the 5% agreement in The Hague in June. Then this initiative to send lethal weapons from the US into Ukraine, paid for by European allies, which we agreed mid-July, and the secondary sanctions the US announced mid-July and have now hit India, because India is still buying oil and other stuff from Russia, and is not putting pressure on Russia to end the war. So all of this is clearly evidence that the US is serious, wants to end this. And what the Europeans did, starting in February, is sit together. A big breakthrough, particularly when it comes to security guarantees, was exactly 3 weeks ago, when in a phone call preparing for the Alaska meeting with European leaders, including Ursula von der Leyen and the President of France and others, the President of the US announced that he wanted to participate, to be part of those security guarantees. Tomorrow will be an important meeting, so I expect tomorrow or soon after tomorrow to have clarity on what collectively we can deliver. That means that we can engage even more intensely also with the American side to see what they want to deliver in terms of their participation in security guarantees, what that will look like, so that collectively we have that dealt with. If a bilateral or trilateral meeting would start to happen with the Russians, particularly between Zelensky and Putin, clearly, having clarity on the security guarantees is extremely important, because for the Ukrainians, they have one overriding priority, that if this war ends, and hopefully it will end sooner than later, because we have got to stop the killing, they want a situation in which this will never ever happen again.
And I like to make sure that US troops stay here in Europe, not only next to the border, but also in Germany, in Poland, and in other places. And we discussed this with Secretary General as well, and to make sure to convince also Americans, and give us also time to build up our own capabilities.
So every country knows it is not just spending 3.5%, no, it is spending 3.5%, so that when the moment would come that Article 5 would be activated, that we all know what our role has to be, the Germans, the Dutch, the Estonians, everyone, where to go to, with what troops, what capabilities, etc. And that will also feed into the defense industrial demand. That's why we have to ramp up defense industrial production, because this is not only about men and women in uniform, very much so, but also making sure that you have the military output from our industry.